Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Convention with the Wiki Comic Book Roundup. As I stated in my previous video, this week's roundup is just going to be DC books because my my comic book shop didn't get their Marvel books in because of an issue that occurred with the delivery. So next week's is probably going to be a bit on the large side. Anywho, we've covered this week's Batman books, so let's move on to the rest of our DC books. Starting off with Green Arrow #2. I love that the second issue would get a variant with focusing on Arsenal. So where we left off, Green Arrow was on another planet. That's what happened to him after, during the climax of Dark Crisis. He got sent to another world. And his son, Connor, his former sidekick, Arsenal, the woman he loves, Black Canary, have been trying to find him. Kind of, where the hell is he? The rest of the league came back, but Ollie didn't. Of course, that's not the only person they're looking for. Ollie's not the only person they're looking for, as Roy is still trying to find his daughter after the events of Infinite Frontier. Last issue, he found her. She turned out she's been living in Alleytown, calling herself Cheshire Cat, wearing a mask very similar to that of the mask that her mother Cheshire wears. She's actually, in fact, she has shown up quite a bit in Catwoman, as well as some of the other Batman books. However, shortly after finding her, and shortly after Roy found her, she disappeared after telling him that they won't let our family be together. And there was a tip, basically, to suggest that Roy and Dinah go after Amanda Waller for answers. So we begin with Ollie narrating, explaining that Roy's always been very emotional, and he feels deep in his emotion. He prepares for war. This is intercut with a montage of panels of Roy doing just that, gathering up arrows, bows, a crossbow, so presumably also crossbow bolts, filling a couple quivers of arrows, and yeah, he's ready for war. So him and Dinah are going to do just that. Then he starts asking Oracle about Waller, which Oracle states after the incident with Earth 3, Waller wasn't seen for months, but Nightwing had a run-in with her a few weeks back, and up to her usual tricks. Back with Ollie, just because he's on another planet doesn't mean he's not going to still be, Green Arrow. Fighting fat cats, sticking up for the little guy. Just so happens the fat cat in question is actually a anthropomorphized cat who is a little on the obese side. But he deals with this guy's enforcer. I like the name that nickname he gives this guy, Jabba the Cat. Deals with his enforcers, but there's another enforcer who appears to be human. Her and Ollie duke it out. She knows who he is, but Cheshire Cat shows up and saves the day, and they go back to Ollie's hideout. He's made vegetarian chili. But he also she asks how it is he built the treehouse, and he explains that he's been stranded enough times that he knows how to build a treehouse. But a few years ago, he talked Batman and Flat into building him a better backup, a compressed tech that's stashed in the bottom part of it, the bottom piece of his quiver. So it's basically like he's able to he's got a hideout ready if he's ever stranded. But they talk about things, and all he does, he really does want to go home. Remembering Roy and Dinah and Connor. And as that happens, the two of them vanish again. At Belle Rev, well, Dinah and Roy have shown up, and yeah, they're trying to find out where Waller is. However, before they can get answers, they start to get some answers from Count Vertigo, though he's being coy. Clearly, he wants something. They're interrupted, however, by the appearance of Peacemaker and Peacebreaker. And that is where the issue ends. It's nice that they finally have a name for the female Peacemaker. Oh, Peace Wrecker. This is definitely getting interesting. Something I've said. I think I said it after the first issue here, but I've said it since then. As per usual, Green Arrow is the least interesting character in his own book. It's his support. It's the supporting cast that is the real draw, at least for me. I know that Green Arrow has his fans, and hey, that's great. Good for you. You like Green Arrow? I'm glad. You like Green Arrow? Good for you. Every superhero is someone's favorite. But to me, Ollie is the least interesting character in the damn book. But you know, hey, if reading Green Arrow means is the only way I'm going to get see one of my favorite DC characters on the regular, so be it. And like it's not a bad book. So yeah. Moving on though, we've got Justice Society of America number 4. Where we left off, Huntress, Helen Wayne, from 30 years, at least multiple decades in the future, was speaking with the JSA, telling them what's going on, when Bird Degaton appeared. However, in the village, Deadman and Detective Chimp are having Madame Xanadu go over the snow globe. Though there's it lets off some energy, bit of an explosion. It doesn't destroy the snow globe, but yeah, it does wreck Madame Xanadu's place. So, we kind of get a rehash of Helen Wayne's story. She formed a JSA to avenge her father, and in honor of the second chance that he gave her mother, a good chunk of the team is made up of former villains. But the JSA attacks Degaton. He did, after all, kind of just show up in the middle of their headquarters. So, it's not like they're picking a fight. And he's not going to say, hey, I just want to talk, guys. That said, everyone's attacks are shrugged off. He doesn't. It seems that Degaton knows exactly what everyone's going to do. When Power Girl charges him, he reveals that he has a kryptonite ring, and Huntress has a thought and fires a bolt from her crossbow, cutting off Degaton's fingers, which the ring is on, allowing Power Girl to knock him for a loop. And Helena gives Dr. Fate a pep talk. And he hits Degaton with a really powerful attack. As apparently every time Degaton attacks the JSA, the first member he takes out is Dr. Fate. After Degaton is dealt with, Madame Xanadu, Deadman, and Detective Chimp show up to explain what they've found. Degaton ends up back in 1947, talking with his older self, and kind of wondering what the hell went wrong, as they're no closer to being in charge, and, well, he's now short a finger. Power Girl and Huntress talk a bit. She does make a point of asking if Batman in the future ever smiles, and, well, she says that of course her dad smiled. But Power Girl wants to know something good about her future. Whether she sold anything is anyone's guess. Back at the brownstone, Dr. Midnight is analyzing Degaton's DNA, but every time she analyzes it, it's like she's looking at a different person, a different person's DNA. Makes her wonder if that's what a living paradox is. Never stable. But Wildcat is apparently Dr. Midnight's working on something for herself, and Wildcat is needing to take Lazarus pills. Madame Xanadu explains what's going on per Degaton to the JSA, that he's going after the JSA starting in the future and working his way back, killing each generation. And starting at Fate. The idea being to replace the JSA with a society of his own. But Green Lantern explains that he need to intercept Degaton somewhere outside of the history he knows. That's where he'll be weaker, where he can't predict our actions, much like he couldn't predict Huntress's or Dr. Fate's. Stargirl and Jakeem are on a mission into Germany, and Power Girl explains that while Helena Wayne may be the key to the whole thing, she's gone AWOL to Gotham, where she runs into her father, who's taking down Mr. Toad, informing him that she's Batman's daughter and she's come back in time to save his life. That is where the issue ends. I'm liking this a little bit more than previously. I think mainly because I'm liking this issue at least more than previous ones. Mainly because it's not playing up Johns' love for Watchmen as much. Yes, snow globe is there, but it's not. It feels much more like a JSA story rather than John's wanted to write a Minutemen story and just said, "Oh wait, I can't use those characters." Okay, let's make them the JSA. So yeah. Moving on though to our last book for the week, we have Unstoppable Doom Patrol #3. Where we left off, the Doom Patrol has been operating as a group of has basically been taking in metahumans who need help, basically. Especially help with controlling their abilities. And they're under. They have earned the ire of the U.S. government, who's more than happy to employ operatives of the Wall, Amanda Waller, to keep an eye on. Maybe not directly, but to keep an eye on the Doom Patrol. Largely setting up Peacemaker, and by extent Peacewrecker, as big bads. So, in Stockton, Mr. Negative, or Negative Man and, not Mr. Negative, Negative Man and Robot Man are doing what they can to evade the Green Lanterns. In this particular case, it's got Guy Gardner and Kyle Rayner. Guy's not too happy about this, though. Kyle doesn't really seem to have any strong feelings on the matter one way or another. Never really worked with the Doom Patrol. No, he does point out that they're making a lot of people mad. They're even operating in Gotham without Batman's permission. Which Guy kind of sees as well, maybe they ain't so bad after all. But he explains the one time that he did somewhat work with the Doom Patrol. It was, I believe, back during the Morrison run on Doom Patrol. A painting ate Paris. And so he explains that the League had to basically just look at the painting like they were in a museum, while the Doom Patrol duked it out inside the painting. But it turns out that the metahuman they're helping currently is Starro. Sort of. A Starro spore has taken over a kid who developed superpowers when it happened. It has to be called Starbro. He's not part of the adding that he's not connected to Starro the Conqueror, like the hive mind that is Starro the Conqueror. There's a moment with Robot Man and Negative Man where Robot Man thinks that Starbro's a dumb name. Says that he'll just call the kid by his real name until he comes up with something better. But Larry, says, tell him to knock it off. Adding that he did this, that Cliff did the same thing to him. When the Negative Spirit and Larry merged with Dr. Poole, they kept asking Cliff to call him Rebus, but he kept calling him Larry. With Negative Man explaining that, it's every time they tried to say something, well, Cliff was saying something else. So, but Cliff apologizes and Negative Man explains that it's a long time ago and he's a different person a few times over. But he does ask that Cliff call the kid what he wants to be called. But Starbro goes into his whole thing. And when Starro Spore himself bonded with him, he found something he never felt before. They became the spore and the kid became something new, or someone new, someone that's actually happy in their own skin. Though of course Starro is notably a big problem. So, but apparently Starro contacted Mento, and the Doom Patrol were sent out. But the Lanterns were caught up. So the negative spirit goes out to do what it can to slow them down, and it's kind of a way. Then Guy explains he said got to wait the negative spirit out and then just follow it back, which they do. But the car has some special modifications and goes ghost mode, driving through a building, and the negative spirit briefly incapacitates Guy and Kyle. But the car can only go ghost mode once. They continue to go through. While turns out the rest of the Doom Patrol are dealing with Animal, Vegetable, Mineral Man. And it's it's kind of a whole. Who's also trying to turn others into Animal, Vegetable, Mineral Men. The as that's happening in Kansas, well, Robot Man figures maybe if they cut through Smallville, they'll manage to avoid further Green Lantern interference. That's not true though, and they got them boxed in. When the Lanterns get a call through their ring of a lantern down and fly off. Starro used a lot of his own personal energy to zone set. So it took a lot for him to do that, to create that for their minds. And then the issue ends in Port-au-Prince, Haiti, with a young boy bringing a box to Mr. Drew. In that box are the remains of the Brain's robot body and the Brain itself. Mr. Drew explains that they have apparently been recruited for war. This book's definitely getting it. I'm liking starting to see while most issues are one-offs, we are getting more build up towards an ongoing plot, which is always nice. Anyway, that's going to do it for this week's roundup. As I said previously, next week's roundup is probably going to be quite a bit of books. As of 2 weeks worth of Marvel books, and well, maybe not so much because there aren't any DC books coming this upcoming week. So, according to the solicits, that is. So, fingers crossed. But yeah, as always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Shout out to Patreon patron Xander Lee. Thank you so very much for your support. This is links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying, live long and rock hard.